Hello chefs, today we're doing another pasta dish. It's a Penne Montanara. Anything Montanara's got mushrooms in it. And together with it, you could have either sea kale or curly kales. I use leek because it's got better flavor for me. And of course my onions. And I have salt, pepper, oil of course, garlic, some vegetable stock, some good chopped tomato, and the parsley butter that we discussed and seen a demonstration some time ago, and a touch of white wine. So I go straight into it by putting the heat onto my pan and sticking the oil into it. So as I cut, I cook. Olive oil is best. A fair amount because it's part of the sauce. And I'll start off with the onions. So put this on the side. And today I shred the onions because the whole lot is going to be either shred or very thinly sliced. So remember, shredding is always along the grain. As fine as you can get it. Nice sharp knife as always is a necessity. Now, the dish is a very sort of characteristics of the northern part of Italy where wild mushrooms are abundant, and the best mushroom of course is the wild mushroom. A variety of them is even better, is more interesting. The more common one that we find on the market is called porcini, which is an open brown cup. And the best I could do today is to find some open brown mushroom rather than white. They're more flavorsome and mature as they open up the cup. When it's closed, they haven't got as much flavor. But you could use shiitakes, or you could use the French, the ceps, or if you really can afford it, is the morel or morille, which is the French one. So that is just simmering nicely, and I prepare my leek. We always wash the leek after you cut it because a lot of sand is trapped within the layers. So just halve it, take off a bit of the end which is a bit dry, and that goes in my stock when I cook it, and just cut it, same as we've done the onion. And what you do is as soon as it's cut you put into water, loosen up the shreds and let the sand drop at the bottom of the bowl of water, and then you fish out the leek or any leaf like spinach or kale from the top. I'm doing quite a bit today because it's a sauce that can be kept and can be used as a stuffing or a filling for a quiche, of course with cheese, cream and the egg. So in it goes, and you can see it's already floating, and this leek is fairly clean. Mustn't forget my onion. Make sure that it gets a bit of color, tiny bit, not too much. So increase the heat. And just loosen them up. And then just fish them out. So it's fairly clean, so that it doesn't need much. And put them in a separate bowl or a colander if you got one. So without disturbing the water, all the sand, the earth, the dirt will be left at the bottom of the bowl. And that's the way of washing leek, whatever shape you give it. So the onion's coming up just right, tiny bit more, and then I put the leek into it. So while that is going, I prepare my mushrooms. Being fairly large, I cut them and then slice them. Now they're fairly soft, so it's very easy to slice. All you do is just keep the blade doing the work by its own weight. So you just pivot the knife like that and let the blade drop onto the mushroom. So if it's a large half, it's a very large quarter. So it's not really any effort in pushing the blade at all. So it's another technique that you can sort of acquire. Mustn't forget my onions on the side. Yeah, they're coming almost to slightly brown. And I'll put in the leek and try to leave as much of the water behind. This sort of work is better done beforehand and let the leek really drip dry. I say it could be sea kale or kale. So all's right going on, nice and all. I carry on with my mushroom. What I do is I stop the video here, and all I do is just stir this all the time and cut my mushrooms, and see you in about a couple of minutes. So here I am, the leek has gone soft, the mushroom are cut, and straight in with the whole lot. As you can see, it's quite a lot of sauce, but the mushroom will sort of reduce quite a bit. So mix them in nicely. And if it was some fresh picked wild mushroom, use them straight away as soon as possible to keep the fragrance and the flavor. And now to bring out a bit more of the flavor, I give a splash of white wine. Dry white wine. And that will increase the flavor as well, give off some steam to cook the mushroom through. So it won't take long, because mushrooms are very soft, they don't take much at all. So just flatten them out. And I put some flavor onto it with freshly ground black pepper. Fair amount, and keep the pepper meal handy for the table later on when we start to eat. I got some vegetable stock ready, a bit of salt, but don't forget that the vegetable stock, especially if it's a commercially prepared one, will have less garlic, will have already quite a lot of salt. So don't overdo it. And you can see that the juice already coming out of the mushroom, so I won't need much in way of stock here. It's already wet enough. It just needs a bit of flavor, so just a tiny bit, tiny bit. And of course the tasting should have this sort of earthy taste from the mushrooms. And it's done. Just needs a good quality chopped tomato, which is better than the fresh where there is no flavor, it is never ripe enough. And that's the last thing they actually cook, just warm it up almost. Don't put too much of the liquid in. Stir it in. And now the parsley butter. So as you remember, the butter is really the the media by which the parsley is kept. You could use other herbs if you wanted to, but it has to be fairly strong herbs. So maybe a bit of tarragon if you wanted to, or even marjoram, or even oregano, since it's an Italian dish. And as you can see, a lot of pasta there. I mean sauce. Make sure I got enough heat to have the pasta mixed in. I keep some of the sauce which can be used. I'll probably use it either for risotto or for another northern Italian dish called polenta, which is a maize meal, which is prepared, cooled down, then cut, and then either grilled or roasted. So all that will be kept. I need a tiny bit of the liquid. And that's for later. I just do bang in my pasta. That's enough for 2 or 3, so I share it with my neighbor and landlord. The pasta is just lukewarm, just being cooked al dente, and all it needs is just to mix in nicely with the rest of the sauce. Of course, fresh grated Parmesan cheese to go with it is a must with pasta. And as it's steaming, it's ready for service. So just give it just a thorough reheating together with the sauce. And also at this stage it will absorb some of the flavor too. So it's penne carbonara. And that's all I need really. Oops, lost one. So 2 plates. Switch off. And we are there. Pick up quite a bit of the pasta there. And you can see there is enough for 3. For my neighbor and the boy next door and me. It can be kept really for a second meal. And to finish off, a bit of the sauce on top. And tiny bit of the tomato. And there you are. Pasta Montanara, or Penne Montanara. I hope you enjoy yours as I enjoy mine, and see you next time.